Hey lovelies, in this video you'll be learning how to make this buttery bread from scratch and also solutions to 4 most common mistakes made while baking your bread. The third mistake might just be your enemy. If you find this video useful, please leave a like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. So into a bowl, add your sugar, yeast, warm milk and whisk. Leave to proof for 5 to 7 minutes. Add your melted butter, your egg, properly mix this and go ahead to add your flour. I'm using all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour if that's what you have, sugar, salt, and here is where the work begins because you want to properly knead this. So the first common mistake made when making bread is using old yeast, hence proving your yeast before use. Please, my loves, don't just add your yeast as part of your dry ingredients without proving it, especially when you know it has been in the storage room for a while. I can remember when I wanted to make puff puff recipe, and then I bought this container of yeast, the yeast I used to make this bread recipe. So I already had the ideology that I still have a lot of yeast left. Why don't I make use of that? And the mistake I made was I added my yeast as a dry ingredient without proofing it for my puff puff. After mixing and doing the whole prepping ingredients and whatever, I realized that the yeast has lost its activeness, let me put it like that, in the sense that I left my puff puff batter to rise for 15 to 20 minutes and it did not do anything. I was so stunned because I was actually shooting this recipe to show you guys how I make my puff puff recipe, and I left it for an hour and nothing happened. God, I was so pained. So watch how I add flour to my work surface and butter. So I needed for about 10 to 15 minutes and allowed to sit in a warm temperature environment for 30 minutes. That's my first bread proofing. So after I added flour and butter, flour to my work surface and butter in the dough, and you've allowed it to rest for 15 minutes, you knead again. You're kneading it properly the second time, and then you're going to allow this sit for 1 hour. You're going to allow this bread rest for 1 hour. So another common mistake, this is the second common mistake. If you learned something from the first mistake that I mentioned, please leave a subscribe. It really means the world to me and it boosts my video for other people to see and learn one or two. So another common mistake made while making bread is not measuring correctly. We see that people push out recipes, and in their recipe their ingredient list, they'll have like 2 cups of flour, and then you're seeing 50 grams of butter, or you're seeing ounces, and you're seeing ml, and you're like, and your brain registers that all these things are in ml, and then you supposedly measure these things in ml, and then it comes out wrong. So the math is really not mathing. Or probably like now I'm saying use 2 cups of flour, and your cup of flour is 250 ml, and the 2 cups of flour I used is altogether 400 ml. When you had your 1 cup of 250 ml times 2, that's already giving you 500 ml, but I used 400 ml and you are using 500 ml. So those things actually build up mistakes. Those things make your work not come out how outcome is meant to have been. So that's another mistake people make. So my solution to this is just invest in a digital scale. It's really not that expensive. In my country, the price of a digital scale is like 2,000. It really saves a lot. It really helps you to measure accurately, and trust me, this is just going to be a game changer for you. After kneading, grease a bowl and pop the dough in the greased bowl. Cover and leave for an hour. Leave to sit for 1 hour. Bring out your bread, punch the dough, and just right now we're not kneading again. We're just going to spread out the dough like I'm doing here, and then cut horizontally and vertically, and just watch how I'm going to roll out my bread the shape I want to. There are diverse shapes that you can do your bread and it will come out beautifully well, besties. So I grabbed my pan, and then I'm just trying to mold my bread in the shape I want to achieve, right? And right after this, you're going to see me, whisking egg and milk so that I can brush my dough so that it can come out shiny. That's just basically while I why I use the egg milk wash. So you don't necessarily need to use that, but trust me, it doesn't harm if you do. Another common mistake made while making bread is doing everything in standing mixer. There will come a time where you need to bring out your dough from your stand mixer and then knead properly with your hand. Making bread by hand is often the best bet. You have an intimate relationship with your dough. I know it sounds creepy, but it's true, right? You also, a machine can also dry out your dough, over oxidizing it, and you will end up with a dry loaf. You can start with your standing mixer, right? When you're adding your dry ingredients and you just want to mix your dry ingredients with your wet ingredients, and when you think it is properly mixed for like 2 to 3 minutes, bring it out of that bowl and use your hand. Trust me, it goes a long way in your bread making. It shows that you put in love, and love is always appreciated in anything. If you learned something from this tip, please subscribe to my channel. It really, really, really means a lot to an upcoming YouTuber like me. Go ahead and preheat your oven and pop this pan into your oven for 20 to 30 minutes, and then your bread is ready. And for the bonus tip I'm giving you guys, because I love you guys so much, is invest in oven thermometer. I cannot overemphasize this, because the kind of oven I use is not the industrial kind of oven. I'm using a gas oven, and it doesn't have all these 120 wherever. So this is where your oven thermometer comes into play. So you pop in your oven thermometer in your gas oven and wait for it to read to that temperature your instructor tells you, to achieve. Then pop in your bread into your oven. Trust me, it saves a lot. Let me know what you learned in the comment section down below, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Like this video, it will help me know that you guys are actually interested in content like this. You guys want to know mistakes that I've made in the past while doing certain things and how you can avoid that. Love you, love.